See?
All right, I'll call the meeting to order. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call. Everyone is here except Troy, and you're going to make a note that he's by phone.
Troy is by phone, I've got that here, and Cassie is not here. She had a program for her daughter.
That's right. I miss Cassie. Next, we'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
I would so move.
I'll second it.
Is there any discussion on the agenda or the motion? If not, we'll vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Aye. Motion carried. The minutes for March 27th and 15th I read over. I hope, has everyone had a chance to look at those?
Yep.
And if so, I'd entertain a motion to approve the minutes. We can approve them together unless somebody has something on one of them.
I would so move to approve them both.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion on this? Seeing none, we'll vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. First thing is Trevor Hendrickson has some questions and concerns. So we got a few minutes here and we'll hand it over to you, Trevor.
I don't know if you guys know who I am, Trevor Hendrickson. Looking at doing a build out in rural Oliver County. This is just kind of a map that's going to show the build. Hanover, right here, Highway 31, intersection of Highway 25. We're 3.5 miles to the west. This is Blaine and Mikey Wilkins' property. We're looking at building about 1/4 mile off the road, right in this area. So, mouse is, I don't know if you guys can see that right there. Show you guys a different map. The yellow square is what property that we purchased from Blaine and Mikey Wilkins, and the little red square there is where we're looking at doing our our family build. As part of this, we've been planning for roughly 4 years. That's how it goes, it seems. We've filled out the application. I've been working with Jaden, Monty, talked with a few of the planning and zoning board members, as well as a few of the county commissioners. As part of the build, we have a $100 building permit, and then there is a what they call a temporary conditional use permit. So the conditional use permit is a $200 fee, which is fine. My concern is that the conditional use permit requires a 14-day section in the paper, and then I have to get approved by the planning and zoning committee to get the building permit, and then wait for the county commission to approve of that. I didn't realize that took up to 60 days. And that's probably on me. I talked with my builder told me, yeah, you can go to the courthouse and get it in a day. That's what other counties have done. So I guess my question to the Planning and Zoning Committee is, what is the purpose of the conditional use permit? And my understanding is that it's a change from agricultural zoning to residential zoning. Why does that gotta be in the paper?
It's required in our county ordinances, and it is also referenced back to Century Code.
Is that something that we've done?
Yes,
It's always been done.
it's always been done.
Okay. So because of that, my question is, my plan was to not start the build until May, roughly. Right now, with the way it's planning, I won't see a county commission meeting approval until June 10th. The weather is really nice right now. So I'd like to break ground early before the conditional use permit is approved on a residential build. Now, I can understand there being impacts related to a commercial build or an industrial build. But the only conditional use that is gonna change related to the property is the zoning from agricultural to residential. This page here, I didn't realize I needed to fill that out, so I
He filled
apologize.
it out, yep.
But the questions are related to, is conditional use gonna determine to endanger public health, safety, comfort, or general welfare? And the answer is no. Does the proposed continued use subsequently impair or diminish the value or enjoyment of other property or the area? I would say no. Does the proposed conditional use impede normal orderly development of the surrounding property from changing a field into a house? Are adequate utilities, access roads, drainage, and other necessary site improvements being provided? I'm gonna say yes. I'm bringing electricity in, Southwest Water in, as well as gonna have proper drainage away from the house on the property. Have adequate measures been taken to provide ingress and egress to the property without adverse effects? We're using the existing road that's into the property to my mother-in-law and father-in-law's house, and we'll come off of that road into our driveway. Does the proposed conditional use conform to all applicable regulations of district within its is located? And I'm gonna say yes. So I guess my question is that if I continue forward with the build, am I gonna get in trouble? What are the impacts? And if that is the case, I would request planning and zoning. I'd like to get it in the paper and hopefully see you guys at the county commission meeting on the 6th. So expedite that.
I don't know the answer to that question.
So according to the planning and zoning ordinances, the requirement for conditional use permit is a 2-week publication in the paper prior to the planning and zoning for a public hearing. The deadline to get anything in the paper is Mondays.
Okay.
So to get it at the May 6th meeting would not be enough time to get it in the paper either.
Okay.
I did speak with the state's attorney about your request.
Okay.
He said the option is request a special meeting of the planning and zoning board as well as the county commission to fit in that 2-week timeline. Now that is entirely up to you as planning and zoning to have another special meeting and then also to go to the commissioners to request a special meeting.
Okay. So I'd have to request that on the date of the meeting on the 6th, or is that something that we could request prior?
It could be requested prior. I would have to call each of them to see if they're willing to come in for a special meeting just for that purpose.
Okay.
Obviously, that's going to be up to them. I can't say yes or no. I
Right.
can ask.
Right.
And that's why we're here tonight, I guess. But per our ordinances, that's the requirement. The 2-week publication requirement is actually in Century Code. That is required because a conditional use permit requires a public hearing.
And there is a cost to having special meetings.
Yeah, I mean, there is a cost, Linda, so there is a cost.
Do we have the option to amend our agenda? And here's permit now because it's on family land? I mean,
No.
he's not trying to redo anything.
So that would basically completely go against what our ordinance says as far as requirements for the conditional use permit.
But we can hold a special meeting.
You can hold a special meeting as long as it's published in the paper for 2 weeks prior to said special meeting. So if I get it to the paper tomorrow, in 2 weeks from tomorrow or today or whatever, they'll publish it next Thursday and the following Thursday. The planning and zoning board can have a special meeting and then it can go to the commissioners for the second, the final approval. But there again, we'd have to defer to our county commissioners if they're willing to come in for a special meeting for that specific
I both spoke to Dave Berger and Rob Schmidt, and they're both aware of my concerns with that. I think I'm the only one to come in and speak about it. I've talked with some other people that have built, but the frustration is that specifically rural Oliver County, if it sits in the paper for 2 weeks, what is the purpose of that? Is somebody going to come in and say, no, they can't build there when it's my property?
That's what it's for. It's a hearing to allow other landowners, adjacent landowners, Joe Schmo down the street, if they have any concerns or questions. That's why because it's not just you're building on there, you're taking agricultural land, even though it's family, and putting it to residential.
Okay.
So,
I guess I don't understand that because it's my
that's
land.
and that's what Century Code and what we've been doing, so,
Can I ask a question?
yes.
I'm sorry, I'm completely unrelated to this situation, but I'm just curious why the zoning change is necessary. If it's one house, why do you need to change that to it's not like it's not like he's building out a subdivision or something. He's putting one house.
It's tax
It's tax different.
It's taxes, yep. So Oliver County, as a county, takes 2 acres, if it's over 2 acres, to be residential.
Thank you.
So,
This is,
Can I interject one piece, Jane?
you go right ahead, Troy, I'm just here taking minutes.
The other side of that is to be posted in the paper. It's to give everyone else an opportunity, if they might have been a statement of claim at some point, to say there's gravel or there's scoria or there's rock prior to purchasing the land. If there's a statement of claim, that has to be public so that then people can come forward. I don't know the situation if you've lived in your family for years and years and years, but I'm in a situation myself that wanted to do some digging and gravel, found out there was a statement of claim put in place 25 years ago. I have to give that person also the opportunity to come forth with, if he wants to approve me to take the gravel off my own land. So that's another reason that it's got to be posted, is for if there's any other statements out there that people might have.
Okay. I guess my next question would be is the Planning and Zoning Committee open to having a special meeting to support in me getting a building permit?
I would be.
I would be too.
Okay.
I would be fine with it, yeah. Jay, do you know, through the special use permit, he's allowed to start groundbreaking, right? As long as he's not building? Doesn't the ordinance say that you're allowed to start in your groundbreaking and stuff like that?
You can dig as many holes as you want to. I mean, call for utility lines, but if you want to dig where you're going to be building, there's no problem there. It's just when you start putting in permanent structures is when it becomes a violation of the county ordinances.
And what is the violation?
So according to our county ordinances, there could be a fine. Double checked this the other day. Penalties involves fine of no more than 2% of the assessed value or $500, whichever is greater, or imprisonment in the county jail for no more than 30 days, or both such fine or
Sign me up.
penalty. I mean, this has obviously, somebody being thrown in jail for violating the ordinance does not happen, but there is the ability of the county to assess a fine if you do.
Who assesses the penalty? Is it the planning and zoning board or is it the county commission?
The planning and zoning board is an advisory board, and so they would recommend a fine to the county commissioners, but if the county commissioners want to assess a fine on somebody for violating this without a recommendation from planning and zoning, they have the ability to do that also.
Okay.
I honestly couldn't say if they would or would not, but
Right.
you know, that's obviously up to the board and the commission.
From my chair, I think that it willfully going against the rule, I'm here to try and get as much information as I can. I'm not trying to pull any wool over any eyes or anything. But just taking advantage of the window because building season in North Dakota is a lot like the boating season in North Dakota. You only get a few months. So I definitely like to do as much as I can while the weather's nice. In saying that, do I make a request to the planning and zoning to request a meeting from the county commission as well, or do we need to wait to request that directly to the county commission?
So tonight you can request of the planning and zoning to have a special meeting, you know, and then because you're requesting that, you can ask me as the secretary of both boards to contact the county commissioners tomorrow.
Okay.
And see if they're willing to come in for a special meeting. Whether that meeting is the same time as the planning and zoning one, it's doable.
Okay.
I mean, because there's no publication requirement between planning and zoning to the county commission meeting. It's just for this initial public hearing that the publication requirement is,
I'd like to make that request.
Okay.
The other stuff I had was the building plans, which will be at a different meeting. I don't need to go over that.
and I'll provide copies to the board once we get to the point of having the hearing for this.
And just so we're on the topic, Trevor, you have to be present for the
Yep.
conditional, but not for the building permit. We'll give out all the information.
Okay. I thought it was at the same time.
They are.
They can.
They
Yeah,
are.
yeah.
Yeah. They usually are when, especially with residential builds. The conditional permit, the building permit go hand in hand.
Okay.
Usually, so.
The
Just
reason,
saying if something got switched or something, yeah.
the reason I've also brought this up is because I've worked with Rough Rider Electric to bring electricity into the property. To start that process, because the property line for the build is directly on the road. The access road is this property line, which splits the road. Because I need to cross that road with power from the pole, I need to get an easement from Blaine and Mikey Wilkins to bring the power onto my property, and Rough Rider will not dig until a building permit is approved. I wanted to get it early, and they won't dig until a building permit is approved. So I've shown them the application, they still won't approve and start that process until the application is approved by the county.
So looking at the calendar,
I was just looking.
I'm looking at the calendar. I can get this to the paper, tomorrow, no later than Monday, for publication next Thursday and the following Thursday. We could have a special meeting on Friday, May 9th, if the board is willing. If you are able to make that work. We can't,
It'll be short, unless there's a problem.
How early can we start?
You tell me.
8 a.m.
I could go for that.
How many people have to be present at a special meeting?
You have to have.
You have to have a quorum, which is 4. So if only 4 of you can make that, as long as it is a quorum, that's perfectly acceptable. If the rest of the board is fine with that. I mean, we have everybody here except for Cassie. I mean, you guys tell me, because I have.
What about a morning meeting?
I mean, if that works for.
I can make it work. That works better for me.
Okay, me too.
Troy?
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with coming in for a special meeting.
Okay, does a morning meeting work for you?
Any time of the day. It's
Okay,
whatever is more convenient for the rest of the committee. I'll make arrangements.
What time, Jody?
Should we do 8?
Yeah, at least it.
Okay.
No, I was just gonna say, we do morning, earlier the better, obviously.
Yeah, earlier, I agree, Troy.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
I will contact the county commissioners. I mean, we have one here tonight, but see kind of what his thoughts are on this one. Do you have a comment on this as far as special meeting wise?
Nope, I think, Trevor had called, you know, if it was somebody outside that we didn't know and we didn't understand what they were doing, you know, why they did it. But, Jamie's lived here her whole life, her family, so I think it's great that you guys try to accommodate them and make it work. I think that's what we need to do for everybody, as long as, everybody's in favor. Being it's on their family land, they'd be the only ones concerned would be Blaine and Mikey.
And a bunch of the neighbors know that we're gonna be out there. I think they're more excited about Jamie being out there than me because they don't gotta go as far if they've got a vet problem. So.
Very good. Thanks, Trevor.
Appreciate it. Thank you. If there's any questions, let me know.
I will contact the commissioners and I'll just be in touch with you. Maybe, hopefully, maybe we could do it the same day, and then it's just done and move forward from there.
Thank you.
All right. Beth Kaler permit shop extension request.
So Beth contacted me earlier this week. They had gotten a building permit from us last year for a shop on the property where they're moving that new house that they had gotten permit for last month. That's not in your packet, I always have an email here.
It's right, I mean, it's, permit number 1032.
Yeah.
It was issued on May 2nd of last year, so obviously it's coming up on expiration. We have extended before, but we just need approval from a motion to approve.
I remember that discussion, yeah.
Yeah, so,
We'll entertain a motion for that extension.
and how long the extension, or
She requested 6 months.
you guys can do whatever.
Yeah.
I would so move to extend for 6 months.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Is there any further discussion on that? I'm doing it all from memory. If none, we will vote. Linda?
Aye.
Matt? Jody? Bill?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Troy.
Troy?
Troy, I forget about you. You gotta make some more noise.
Yes, I agree.
All right, motion carried.
Okay, I will let her know.
Well, doesn't it have to go to the commissioners too?
Yes, sorry. I will take it to the commissioners and then I'll let her know.
Courtney Smith and Corey Keating.
They're right here.
Gotta find that. Right there. So we have conditional use permit.
I believe the
Oh.
dates won't.
Should be the very first one that you're looking at.
Yeah. Where's that at? The 1-200?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you want an idea, Lonnie, it's, you know where the hill was sliding?
Yep.
Right straight north of that, just about.
Yeah, right by Lake Mandan or whatever is in the vicinity.
And then Dots's was right to the west of them.
Yeah.
I would so move to approve.
Yeah, I see nothing.
I think, I don't know what the dates had said.
We'll just, from the issue date.
Okay,
we have
perfect,
a year,
perfect.
Yeah.
Just made this one last year. And then there were extenuating circumstances that we had to put it on hold.
So Jody, did you just make a motion?
I did. For the conditional?
Yes.
Yes.
Is there a second? Bill seconds it. Is there any discussion? If none, we'll move to a vote. Linda,
Aye.
Matt, Jody, Bill,
Aye.
Troy,
Aye.
motion carried. Now for the building permit.
It's the same application.
Yeah, see it. Are there any questions, discussions? If there's not, we'll move, I'll entertain a motion. Building permit.
I'll make a motion to approve the building permit.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Discussion on this, any questions? All in favor? Linda,
Aye.
Matt,
Aye.
Jody, Bill, Troy.
Aye.
All right. Motion passed.
So we'll take these to the county commission meeting on May 6th for final
Okay.
decision, and we will, send you the permit when everything is done. You
Okay.
do not have to be present for that meeting.
Awesome, thank you.
No.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you guys very much.
The Randy and Sarah Becker garage.
So they, back in 2019, put a house out there, and now he has submitted a building permit for a detached garage in the same location as the home.
Where's that at again? Just so we know.
How about you?
Is that way out west there?
It is.
I don't know where they're at.
So they are actually right here. In section 29 of 1.3.
Way down there.
Right here.
Where's Paul Metz's place at?
This is a little bit further south.
Okay.
So, yep, they're right out here.
And we do not have a copy of that permit in our packet.
The building for the home? No.
No,
Is
for
this-
the
Yep.
garage.
Yeah, 1061 should be right in there. There you go.
That's been 62. I
Did
don't
you not
have
get
it.
a copy? Okay, I got an extra one here. Got an extra one.
It's stuck in here. Oh, that's what I was saying. Steve. I was confused
No
there.
problem. It's your key
Yes, this is on TV too. Same as at home.
He said they're using the existing septic, so there's no new permit required for that because it's just a small bathroom within the garage. He spoke to Western Plains Public Health about that.
I'll entertain a motion for this permit.
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Is there any discussion on this? It's pretty straightforward. If not, we'll vote. Linda,
Fine.
Matt,
Aye.
Jody,
Aye.
Bill, Troy.
Aye.
All right, motion passed, permit approved, it'll go to the county commission.
Yep.
Now we have Gene Weil.
So this is
They're just basically, they're filling in the basement and then putting a house or a trailer modular on it.
Where's it at?
Over at Wild, out by,
Just south of Brendan Angles.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kind of by, on that farm to market. To, what's it called? This is where,
That's where the home burned.
Yep.
I will make a motion to approve.
Is there a second? Is there any further discussion on this or questions? If not, we'll vote. Linda?
Aye.
Matt?
Aye.
Troy?
Aye.
Jody?
Aye.
Bill? Motion carried, so that permits the county commissioners also. All right, why do we have this last Josh Metz thing in here?
oh, did we grab the wrong one?
Yeah, I didn't have that one.
Maybe it was stuck to something else.
Okay.
I'll just take that one, because that's been approved and done with for a while.
Ordinance discussions. I have a question first. Did any of our subcommittees meet yet?
There is no subcommittees.
That's right, we took them off. We
Sorry,
took them off.
Yep, so then.
Oh, yeah, that's
just the
right.
whole
Well,
board is
I've got a question too, because I thought it was discussed at one of those county commissioners meeting that Matt Erickson said that the 3 coal counties would be working together on ordinances.
They're not working on ordinances, they're working on a potential plan for like industrial areas where industrial projects could go. So they're working on that, but there's nothing to do with actual ordinances. They're just basically working with the state's attorneys and then some a possible like consulting company to find potential areas where industrial projects can go.
So were we gonna review the information you had, or we need a structured way to approach this so we don't just spin our wheels?
So Matt actually sent everybody some drafts of ordinances that he worked on. I did make copies for everybody.
All right.
He took it upon himself to draft these, so we're just kind of, oops, sorry. Okay. And I make copies and now you guys can. It's like, if Matt wants to explain and then.
Well, I just, essentially, I took the different templates that she got from Divide County, Montreal, Burley County, and I kind of took the best of each one and kind of put them all together in this. And then there was some observation and some, I guess I would say, citizen participation with Dave. So he had some suggestions that he suggested we add into some of the existing ordinances and implement in these new ones in order to, I guess, protect the county's infrastructure, citizens' land, how it's being treated in these projects going on, and how things are being left. So this, I guess, is a summary. I did one for the data center. I did one for solar. I did do one for battery energy storage facilities. And then we also came up with some revisions to add to the existing wind. Because a lot of that stuff was approved a long time ago. Nobody had any experience with how these facilities were built and how it would be taken care of. And now today, we want to readdress some of the issues that we've noticed and citizens have been bringing to our attention.
last one in your pile, Matt, is that the wind one?
I believe so. It's the revised zoning ordinance 2025, so that's existing ordinances, so it's the update to.
She actually printed them, so I don't.
I did print them, sorry. I just put them in little packets for you guys.
Well, and it's been updated to some of the new North Dakota codes. So there's some citations in here to where it's been updated. And again, these are all just drafts for everybody to go through and kind of discuss the different turning points that we have on each one. You know, what would be best for everybody involved.
Has Patrick Waters looked at this?
I have sent them to him, sent them to him, and he is looking them over, so he does have a copy of them.
Let's see what this is. Okay. And I got a note that Dave sent us on wind farms, the concerns of the email. Is that addressed anywhere in here?
It should be.
Yeah, it is.
Can you just,
Well, I didn't bring a highlighted copy because I didn't know how we were gonna exactly present any of this.
yeah, well, don't think, that's fine.
I do think it would be a good idea to probably have the original to compare this to, and then maybe have this is what's being added, this is what we would change.
The original isn't that long, I just looked it up here.
Right.
But where is that? Take for example, the water and dust. Where would that be on this last document? Just so I can get an idea of
This what you-
water resource setbacks.
There's erosion and sediment control.
It'd be under number 2 under standards, I believe. Some of it would be, it looks like.
You understand? Here it is. Appearance, construction, maintenance.
The top of the page before the public safety one, it talks about restoring county roads, implemented dust control measures, that.
I think I got it right here.
Yep.
Is there a 3 on the bottom?
Yep.
So I'm doing that email from memory here, but I know that it talked about weed control. It talked about replanting the grasses. Talked about dust control, where they're gonna get the water. What else am I thinking now about? Is there anything in there, is there anything in here on erosion? They do have an erosion problem.
2.9, third page in, erosion and sediment control.
Okay. Matt, let me see where you're looking at. Is that, we're in the last sheet.
No, this is.
Well, this is
Yeah,
just like
there's
3 pages in.
3 pages in, toward the bottom. Or a quarter.
Okay, I got another question. This last packet, Is this only for wind farms, or is this
This one here,
the
the
or is
one
this?
we're looking at. So it's updates to the wind from what what I'm looking at here. But our ordinances themselves do need to be reformatted so they look a little bit better, because they're kind of a jumbled mess right now. But Matt just did start taking a bunch of this and working on it, and took it upon himself to do this, so,
Thank you, by the way.
yes.
It's not a problem. I spend a lot of time behind a computer.
So it does include some of our general
Thanks.
standards in here, but I would say most of this right now pertains to wind. I mean, I know there's some crew housing facility stuff in here on that kind of thing, but I would say in general, this is just a working document draft for the reformatting of the ordinances, not really necessarily rewriting, it's just fixing
It
them
needs
so
to
they
be
look better.
formatted correctly.
Well, I was under the impression that we were gonna take the wind ordinance, which is not even a page long, and then add the dust control, the erosion, and the weed control to it, in a nutshell. But was I thinking wrong?
Well, it says all prior zoning ordinances are repealed.
Yeah, I'm having a hard time reading this. I mean,
I apologize.
no, this is really,
it's really,
no, I'm thankful that you started. I just,
That was, I think, the general discussion, especially after the last commission meeting, was to start with the wind and implement these major concerns that have been brought up, and then kind of work on it from there.
yes, because if,
It's not repealing all the ordinances on the first page in section
Just those
3.
two.
Well, I wouldn't so much look at what the
Except.
document is saying that it is for, it's just written in that format, so it has this cover page.
It does have
It's
that in the
ultimately just
original.
looking at the content and having a discussion about what is more modern according to the rule. Because a lot of this uses, North Dakota Century Code using 22-23 legislator versus 2016. So it's updating the law in order to add in, like this part here with number 6 on gas and oil exploration. Submit digital plan schedules, landowner notifications, and North Dakota Department of Environmental Quality bond evidence. So I could imagine the paper in 2016, it probably didn't mention bonds from North Dakota Department of Environmental Quality. So this kind of aligns it more with the state of North Dakota's requirements. I don't think we ever actually, I didn't actually do one that was just for wind. I just used that document that contained the wind, and it kind of applied the North Dakota law to it as it is now.
well, as a group then, are we gonna tackle this are we gonna do one ordinance at a time, or try to do all 4 at the same time, or?
I think it'd be a good idea just to have a look at them so that everybody kind of knows what we have here, and then we decide on how we're gonna tackle them.
Okay,
This is just a draft to get some information that is specific to the things that we were talking about using the different committees for. Since we're not gonna do the committees, we all have to do this, we might as well have a shared draft as a starting point. I mean, it seems to make
Yes.
sense to have something that we can all see and look at instead of sitting here and trying to pull it out of thin air.
I agree
Look at
with
6
you.
different counties' ordinances and then try to pluck it apart.
Okay. And then, Jaden, you had some papers, are they that you were going to share an ordinance from another county?
That's what he
sent
took.
all of those to you,
Okay, that's what I
and
meant.
Matt took all of those.
You took it, incorporated them in here.
Yes.
He did this.
That's what my
So
email
if-
wasn't
if
working,
you-
that's
if-
why I didn't get it.
Yes.
If you look at data center, it pulls something from every one of the counties that are already working on an ordinance. And again, this is just a template for us to look at and restructure to make it fit better to what we decide.
Dave, did you have a question?
Yeah, well, comment. So the battery storage facility, if you read up on it, you can go online and see it. Once they start on fire, there's nothing to put them out. So I talked to Lad Erickson yesterday. They have 2 companies have come in. I didn't ask them who. One could be Black Mountain, like has approached the county. But I'm guessing they're probably going to every county, seeing where the best place for them to build the units or facilities. But once they're built, they're next to impossible to put out. And they have leased property southeast of Mid-Dakota already.
Okay. Wow.
And these are all things that we are allowed to have ordinances on. That being said, obviously not really restrictive or above necessarily overly above what the state has. I have spoken with a few people who have said that if it's not out of line, it's typically okay, but I have spoken with other planning and zoning directors who are all working on similar ordinances like this, because counties are still allowed to zone them, so.
I think this other group back here, I'm guessing, is from a wind project. And I got a couple calls, I was driving in the field when I got them, I didn't take notes. And I explained that to both callers that, if we're gonna change our wind ordinance, what we were thinking about, and I want some feedback on this, is we've had some problems with erosion, dust control, which one am I missing? The water usage for the dust control. The reclamation was a nightmare. The slopes cut on the section lines weren't right at all. I assume that they were governed by the PSC, but we're not here to hinder the development. We're here to fix some of these things that were a real problem. I just got done seeding a field with this much blowing sand, for 50 feet. And I think erosion needs to be addressed. We had a lot of concerns with weed control, a lot of concerns on the section lines. We don't have anything in stone yet. I mean, it's gonna be industry standard stuff, I'm assuming we'll come up with.
Mhm.
But it just needed to be done, and it wasn't done in a nutshell.
This is also a way to, it's an enforcement mechanism, so this stuff does get done.
So then the county can enforce it because it's in an ordinance.
Yes.
Yes.
The state's attorney can enforce as needed because it's in a document like this.
That's what we're looking to do. And I just opened the wind ordinance here, and there's nothing, I don't think there was anything on weed control at all.
Can put stipulations on permits though, if something's missing.
Yeah. So, this is mainly setbacks and industry standard stuff in here. I don't know if, is everybody kind of in agreement with what I said, or did I?
That's what you guys talked about,
Yeah, that's what we talked about.
Yep. that we just need a little bit more
Yeah.
meat in the ordinance.
Well, and I can redo a wind-specific one with the concerns that Dave brought up and send it to everybody. I didn't, I guess, anticipate, just because we've been discussing the data centers and the solar farms. I had those and the battery energy systems, but I didn't do the wind farm specific. Again, this was just a formatting one where we were working on the original ordinance formatting, but I did put that new information that Dave, had brought to my attention.
Well, I thank you for doing this. Holy smokes, it's like a lot of work here.
Well, that's an office of it.
Okay.
And I think some of what Dave has brought up as suggestions can be applied not just towards wind, it can be applied towards,
I think they are in these.
yeah, some of them aren't just specific for wind, it's for other types of projects as well, so.
So I'm a little mixed up. So if we redo an ordinance and say we put erosion control in it, do we do it, is it a general one that covers them all, or does it go under each individual?
It kind of seems like this document is like a preface, kind of before the individual, where it covers, just multiple different things, but then specific ordinances like data center and solar and wind or whatever have their own sections. It just seems to me like this is more like a cover letter, kind of lining out.
For the industrial section of the ordinance.
Like the first chapter, and then everything is spelled out individually.
If there's project-specific items that don't relate to others, I mean, erosion control is a concern with not just a specific project. It's not just wind or data or whatever.
Well, I think
It could be a general requirement, but I mean, that's obviously, up to you guys.
Well, like for example, not to jump the gun, then I'll get Dave here. To understand erosion control, I was thinking the ordinance might say that if dirt piles have to be left over the winter, they have to be covered with mulch. Something like, is that? Or steps taken or a barrier put up, so.
Well, I think you'd have to do something specific on erosion control. These are more addressing the landowner, the county infrastructure issues with the road usage, speed limits, bonding to secure that they're gonna put the land back the way they say they're going to, because of the incidents where we had seed and stuff blowing off and then they didn't want to come back and reseed because they already did it once. We're kind of trying to put those protections for the county and the landowner into all of the ordinances. So if it's a data center, it's gonna have the same protection as somebody coming in to put in a wind farm.
I agree.
If you come in and do a solar project, it's gonna have specifics, and it's also gonna share the same erosion control and stipulations with the bonding in order to protect the citizens' property and landowners and the county infrastructure. So it should cover all of them. And then what's specific to data center will be in the data center, what's specific to solar will be in the solar, what's specific to wind will be in the wind. So then in the future, when anything ever comes up and they come and look at Oliver County ordinance, they don't have to read through the whole ordinance to find out anything about wind. They can just go to the wind section and it's gonna refer to erosion that covers everything. It's gonna refer to all of that. It would be essentially in the end, it would be an ordinance package where you have the county ordinance and then the specific ordinance covering the different entities under it.
Good idea.
More of a reclamation plan.
Dave, what did you think?
Well, it's an NDCC thing. It's how the Century Code tries to get it to structure it so that it covers everybody legally and it's binding.
You know what, maybe a good couple counties to look at would be like Williamson County when they, Mackenzie County when they were going through oil and gas development. With, for a lot of what I'm hearing, same kind of issues that does control.
Yeah.
Or road, with pipelines or well pad sites. There's a lot of those that have already been, that might be a good, like you said, template or example in those counties that would
Well,
apply
that's
the
what I'm
same.
kind of doing, is I'm looking at whatever, and she only supplied me with, I think, five
There's
or
only a few
six.
that have been working on the data center specific, so that's what I had sent you.
No,
and
right,
a few
yep.
that have solar.
Yep.
Now, when we're talking general
Or it might be that oil and gas
Yep.
reclamation plan might work as a coverall, for the problems.
You get up there, you probably got a lot of like well owners that want different ordinances so that they can pump as much oil as they can. We don't have that oil down here. We got a lot of grass that can burn. And we want those protections for everybody.
Yeah.
So it'll be a little bit different, but.
All right, we're the surface owner and the mineral
Yeah.
owner was a different person,
Exactly.
different.
Right. Well, we're kind of dealing with that here too. We've got people that own land here, but they don't even live here. And there's wind towers on their land that the people that do live here have to look at.
Dave, what were you
So
saying?
Mike is here with NextEra, he'd like to speak to you.
Yeah, Chase Delauer with
Or
NextEra.
Chase.
With NextEra Energy, we have a few projects within Oliver County already. I'm with developments, but familiar with the projects in the area. Just a comment on dust control specifically. Are you already protected with dust control in the road use agreement?
It is in the road use agreement. When each company comes in and signs it, it was added originally. I mean, with the one that you guys have with us, it was added in there, as a part of the agreement. Now, that's not to say we couldn't include that in the ordinance though, so that way it's covered.
Okay.
But I guess that's where our state's attorney will have to come back and let us know, like, hey, this is good, or this part, we put this over here, kind of a thing. And he's reviewing these documents.
Okay. I think the other comment that I was going to make was in regards to the reclamation or the stormwater prevention plan, is really when we come back and reseed, we're reseeding grasslands, not the croplands. From a cropland perspective, we're paying crop compensation after we come in and develop the project and any damages to the crop. But we monitor that for approximately 2 years, or until we reach 70% regrowth with an internal team. When we do perform that reclamation and again achieve that 70% regrowth. So I think that may already be a part of the state Public Service Commission permit.
The 70% is part of that.
The 70% regrowth is a part of the stormwater prevention plan. Yeah.
So what about the places where it blows away because it got planted in September and it never did grab hold? And then now we're coming back and we've got bare fields. Is that being addressed?
I was in operations managing many wind farms across North and South Dakota for many years, and I guess my input to that would be that we've worked with the landowners directly in those specific areas and have come back and reseeded if it didn't take because of Mother Nature, coming into play where it's a dry season when we perform the reclamation. Sometimes it takes a year for those seeds to actually take and sprout and take off. During that time, we also perform weed mitigation, and that typically occurs twice a year. Speaking on behalf of NextEra Energy and the operating sites that I managed for a number of years. In some cases, we'll bring a contractor back a third time to spot spray areas that we didn't feel, met our expectations.
Well, I think our main objective is always satisfying the landowner. And if the landowner lives next to or has provided land for this to happen adjacent to one of the windmills and it does blow off, I think that regardless of how hard you're trying to fix it, I think we should focus on compensating and making the landowner happy with the field next to him. I guess ultimately, we have some open complaints right now. So if those are being addressed right now and taken care of the landowners, it would change the scenario. But right now we have open requests, and from what I've heard, we've gotten a little bit of negative response from NextEra about addressing it, as in, well, we did it already. Okay, well, it blew away, so somebody's going to have to address that, and it's not just oops, we planted it too late, it blew away because it was windy that day.
Yeah.
Well, this is what we deal with up here. It's windy every day up here. I live on top of the hill, and yeah, it's windy every day. So that's something that should always be taken into consideration, I think.
appreciate that. And I know Sarah will continue to work with Dave on some of those open complaints. I was actually here present for the last commission meeting, so we'll continue to address those concerns.
Okay, that's good. So McKenna McCarville, I'm here with Enel Green Power on behalf of the proposed Flat Rock Wind Project. We understand the concerns of these construction-related issues. They're very visible and critical to the residents. So fully understand that these need to be managed efficiently, and I know it's a lot of work to go through these ordinances, so appreciate that. We would just, echo the request to look at what the state may already be requiring in their permits, because that would, in some cases, create some duplicate requirements for someone coming in to develop a project. But generally in support of adding these construction-related pieces to the ordinance. The Flat Rock Wind Project is very close to locking in our project design. So on behalf of Flat Rock, we would just request at this point that any changes to like the turbine setback standards, those would be pretty detrimental to our planning process, and would delay when we'd be able to get in front of the county with our conditional use permits. So would request that those not be changed at this time.
The setbacks were not discussed.
I don't think the setbacks were a big
I think
concern.
everybody was happy with that. I guess what I think doesn't matter, but I mean, that's the feeling I got, that the added things were going to only be for, we had the erosion issue, the weed problem on there. I don't know where the seed bowl lay, I don't know where that's at, but it was all reclamation kind types of stuff that they wanted to enforce at the county level.
Understood.
In a nutshell.
Some of it was traffic related too.
The traffic, I thought, I lived out in the middle, I thought that was pretty good. I mean, I'm gonna give the Blade operators out there A+s on the roads.
One of the things in Dave's list was adhering to the speed limit, because apparently in some places there's been some complaint.
Oh, they had that flashing light out there, which seemed to help. Boy, it helped my mom. It's 45, man.
That was a common call that I had at the beginning of the project, was speed issues.
Yeah. Well, there was a lot of activity. Got to slow down for a year. Yeah.
It wasn't just the company, it was the residents.
I never saw one truck go over 25 miles an hour, and when I was riding with them, I had to wear my seatbelt because that's all GPS monitored, and if the company speeds, they get in trouble. I did not know that. I thought, wow.
I think the guy that got clocked doing 90 down 25 got fired. And
Oh.
family dump.
Oh. It's Friday afternoon, probably. Yeah.
Lonnie, if I could add to that, the commission, former commission had to have 4 special meetings because of dust control. And you were aware of that. There was a lot of roads weren't watered at first, and then they started sucking out of creeks that then the landowners were calling. I wasn't even a commissioner yet, but there was a lot of concern about creeks going dry. And then, of course, now, Chase, I got to bring it up anyway. I was called the other day from the Dahl family, Keith Dahl, Keith and Vivian. Not them, but their family. The ruts and stuff that they made right down here by the creek. When they drove probably 100 and some truckloads of water out of there. And part of the agreement, and I don't know if it's verbal or written, but Chase can check into that. But it needs to be leveled off and stuff.
I agree with it. Like the creek in Hanover, they got a permit for that, didn't they?
Yeah, but it's that's where we got to get our. And if you read my notes, Oliver County doesn't have a water resource board. Well, they've got a board, but they don't have any. What do you want to call it? Ordinance or?
Well, they don't have any, like, an ordinance or rules or anything like that, but the problem, and this is what I've been told, is that regardless of us having a water resource board, the state is the one that permits pulling out of there. And if there are complaints or concerns or issues, that's when landowners or people living along the creeks or that are affected by it have to go to the local water resource board with a, it's like a complaint form completely filled out. And then they forward that, they have a meeting, they forward it on to the state and say, hey, here's a problem. I know a few did that, but I guess I don't know the rules as far as if a local water resource board maybe implements extra. I don't know if they can or cannot, I guess.
When I called the guy at the state, I can't think of his name right now, Oliver County doesn't have nothing, and he thought they should. And Lauren Agers is kind of what the secretary for him. AJ Bloom and Linda Price and Mike
Teets. Yep.
They're on the board. But he said they should have rules, because that way anybody can come in and for a $10 permit and suck water out of the creek.
See, what happened when they irrigated out of the Otter Creek straight west of me, and then they had to quit? The state water board made them pull that irrigation pump out of there.
So they have to put a flow meter on that, whatever they're sucking out of.
Yeah.
And if that flow drops off to a certain amount, then that's when they shut them off.
And I was under the understanding that there were some water rights issued in Oliver County.
I was on the water board at the time, what you're talking about, that irrigation thing. And, but it's been a few years, but, I know there was something with the flow of the creek. There was a flow meter they put on, and there had to be a certain flow going downstream. Now, there are people that have irrigation permits, from way back. But if they have not used them for a certain amount of time, and I don't remember what it was, they can lose them.
Okay.
That's also
But there's a lot of
done
stuff.
on a standard, Lonnie. It's also done on your size of your acreage, the amount of water to the amount of flow to the creek will allow you how many inches per acre you can draw. And the permit that was set up, like the draw out of the creek center where the pump site was, there was a permit written by the state that had an X amount of gallons of usage from an X amount of time to time. And I personally monitored it, and I also got in touch with the state water board on it, and it was well over what the permit draw was, as far as the amount of gallons that were pulled out of there. So the citizens, the people of town contacted the city and wanted to know why the creek was so low. They came back up, they done a flow on it, but if there's anyone that has a use permit for feeding or watering cattle, if there's anyone in that line that it affects the ability for production on watering of livestock, those permits that can be pulled or the draw can be stopped.
I think the landowner has to, or the operator has to file, there's a special form, I have it up in my office, and I think
It is. You
that you have,
register a special
so
form.
that they're aware that there's X number of cattle using water, and that takes precedence over permitted water drainage from that. They have to, the state has to consider, if somebody has filed that they can't use more water so that the cattle don't have it.
Correct.
But it is a form that producers need to fill out and send to the state so that they have it on file. I can't remember what it's called, but I do have it up on my desk.
One other thing I would follow up with what Dave was saying was that lot that was used in town. Yes, it was promised that it would be bladed, gravelled, smoother than what they got there, so that it could be maintained and mowed and weed control. And I'm the one that takes care of that for my aunt. And if anyone's looked in there, I don't think you'd want to take a mower in there right now either to try to mow that and control it. So I agree with there was a lot of maybe conversations about things that were going to be done and taken care of. And I don't know if it was a case that winter caught them or winter caught you or that, spring work is here, but I think a lot of things got passed off on yeah, we're gonna do that, but it never did happen.
Okay. I want to address this question. I forgot your name. I didn't take notes. Your name?
Me? McKenna.
McKenna. It wasn't our intent to look at setbacks. It was only our intent to look at some of the problem areas in erosion, reclamation, and dust and roads and some water. That was not our. I feel the board, and I can't speak for the whole board, but I'm not going to say anything about setbacks. Does anybody have an issue with setbacks right
I
now?
think the state sets those, and we follow the state.
Okay, yeah.
We don't have any
Yeah,
issues with that.
Yeah, so that's just because some of the problems that landowners were having, and then we wanted to enforce some things at the county level.
State rule says 500 feet. Now, like what we're dealing with B&I out there, you can go to the PSC and they can't extend that. But you have to do an informal hearing. But that's the normal setback for just about anything.
Okay.
I think it'd be a good idea to have GPS coordinates for the wind towers on their permit. I've also heard some of the complaints where they're told they're gonna get a tower put here and they show up and it's somewhere else.
That I've never heard, but yeah.
I think I had 3 landowners tell me that the towers, they kept asking where they're gonna go and they never got an answer.
Okay.
So I think
That's
that's
not
just
a,
something that's gotta be addressed.
that couldn't hinder this industry at all. It should be in there. We can put that.
It would take that they do a lot of planning, they would probably know exactly where things are gonna go. To supply that information shouldn't be difficult.
Do you have that in there? I mean, did you put something like that?
I don't know if I didn't specifically do the wind tower one yet.
So
I just used
No,
that
that's fine.
2016
I mean, for any of these,
ordinance.
did you put like a GPS coordinate for any of these other types of projects?
I don't think I did.
Okay.
No, that's,
I think the adjustments I did to them was adding the different counties' information together.
Sure.
And then supplemented it with Dave's comment.
Okay, I'll just make a note here that was a suggestion.
so I'm assuming our plan is to look these over and at our next meeting talk about it again and go from there. Patty?
Can I make a suggestion?
Yeah.
Because these ordinances take longer, is there any way we can start the meeting early? So we're not here until 9, 10 o'clock like previous, or 10 o'clock?
Well, I'm gonna try to cut this meeting at a reasonable
Well,
time.
yeah, I know, but I'm just saying, like, when we start talking about them, can we?
Can we address it then? I just don't wanna start a meeting at before 7 right now at this time of the year. I'd rather start at 1 in the morning. 7's, this is my prime time. I had to shut down to come in. Which.
During the day is fine, but I was just
I
thinking
know
because sometimes.
quite a few of our board members do work during the day. So.
Yeah.
You know.
Let's call in.
Yes, that is an option, and we do have the ability to do like a Teams or a Zoom for those of you that are, you know, in an office working, if you can't drive to center, you know, that it's an option.
Well-
Me, I'm here anyways.
We'll meet at the regular time and then we'll bring it up again. Is that
Okay.
satisfactory?
No, that's fine.
That's-
I just know previous meetings it's.
No, we got,
Well, I
we
think-
spun our wheels. After 2 hours, we accomplished nothing, you guys. I was watching.
I think that falls on also our chair to just say, all right, let's, you know, move forward on this. You know, we're kind of.
That's why I did these up too, so we'd have something to look at and actually discuss versus trying to look at
And
all the different counties' paperwork.
I do, and I feel overwhelmed with all this. If we are not experts on battery storage and data centers, we're doing the best we can, but we have a good start here. Well, you could spend hours on this stuff. I mean,
You can find a lot of
40-hour
information.
weeks on this.
There's a lot of information out there.
Yeah.
I think the main concern, and it is in our current comprehensive plan, and it's protecting the public health and safety and welfare of the people that are living here. That's the main concern. I mean, we don't need to take a deep rabbit hole dive into everything, but as long as we have the general, let's make sure that the people are taken care of, I think that is the intent of
And the land.
of this, yeah.
Well, any project you work on, the standard is you return it better than when you found it, right?
Yep.
I mean, isn't that a general, and not only that, but a good business practice? If you're in this kind of department, don't you want to leave your footprint better than what you found it?
Well, and some of these documents also do cover abandonment and removing stuff, decommissioning. So maintenance, bonding until construction's completed, and so I mean, there's some of that coverage in there to try to guarantee that.
I would think that it would be in their best interest to, it would be a liability to them to not do health and safety and, all that kind of thing. Why would they not want to? The risk of lawsuits and liability is probably a lot higher than what it costs to just do it in the first place.
Well, companies go bankrupt though.
Yeah.
Okay, so, just to recap, one final time, we're not looking at the setbacks, we're looking at a few issues that were called in here. Mainly all kind of reclamation and dust control, road, stuff like that. And as for the group here, we're gonna look these over, come back at the next meeting, spend some time with that. Don't forget we agreed for Trevor's special meeting. And you'll send an email out
I
or a
will
text.
send an email, so please, check your emails, I'll send one out saying don't forget.
It should be a short meeting.
I would hope so, yes.
Yes. It's on Friday night.
No, a Friday morning.
Friday, that's right. Hey.
You're the one who wanted it.
No, I did want to, I got a lot
Friday
of stuff
morning,
going,
8
usually
a.m.
more organized.
So, yeah, adjourn on the 9th, yeah,
I'm gonna declare the meeting adjourned.
okay. Thank you, Troy.
Jason, you didn't, I think you were gonna point in that my direction in last comment.
No, it wasn't directed towards you.